This is a 1 in a billion chance. But there are some incredibly rare moments in the NBA, like the most insane game winner. One of the most impossible dribbles.
LeBron tries in. Oh my!
Everything you see in this video is exceptionally rare. First, we've got Austin Reeves making a last-second shot that stunned everyone.
End to the second quarter, and the Lakers back up by 10. Let's go to Lisa.
He came in, nailed that three-pointer, and even hit a fan. That's a 1 in a trillion moment. JaVale McGee pulled off one of the rarest blocks you'll ever see when he swatted the ball with one hand.
Oh, McGee just grabs it.
I told you, he's fun to watch.
What a block.
Andrew Wiggins pulled up from the wing and made an unbelievable shot.
Draymond slips the screen. Wiggins from the wing. Oh, it did a victory lap.
LeBron has had some of the most extraordinary moments ever, but I've never seen him just stand there while cheerleaders danced around him. It almost looks like his controller died. Meanwhile, Indiana Pacer fans had their own wild moment when a bat flew into the arena and no one could catch it.
Is that a bat? And guys, everybody's a little leery.
Yeah, everybody is. You can see it right there flying across the floor. Where's Boomer?
At just 6 feet 2 inches, Gary Payton went up for a jump ball against the 7'1" Jonas Valanciunas and pulled off this move.
Kane Fitzgerald throws it high enough. Payton has great vertical. Look at Payton trying to move his hand. And Payton won it. GP2, young glove. He was excited about that one too.
I'd be thrilled too if I outjumped a giant, but I wouldn't be too happy about what Jeff Green did. He actually dunked the ball on his own head.
Because that's going to be important.
Doc saying that went in and hit one of the Knicks players on the head.
The guy gave himself a facial. You don't see that every day. And you also don't see shots like Corey Brewer's. After getting fouled by a defender, he took a shot from behind the backboard, and this happened.
Allison waiting to check in for Oklahoma City. Brewer hits the deck, and they're going to count that basket.
That guy's lucky the backboard is on his side, because it definitely isn't a fan of Danny Green. Green took a three-pointer that bounced around the rim and ended up sitting on top of the basket. I'm not sure how that even happens. Meanwhile, Spencer Dinwiddie tried to tip a loose ball to a teammate and ended up scoring by accident.
Tipped out again and up and in by Dinwiddie.
Of course, he played for the Wizards and knows a bit about magic, but this commentator had a talent for ruining clutch moments, as he mistook an air ball from Trevor Ariza for a game-winning three.
Beal driving, kicks it out. Ariza, baseline, dagger!
Wow.
Ariza from the baseline for three, and the Wizards with a miraculous comeback in Washington. They're saying it did not go.
Okay.
Well, from our angle, it looked like it dropped straight through, but clearly.
I have to admit, I thought that shot went in too. And I used to think Russell Westbrook was just a basketball player, but it turns out he has another role, mopping the court during his own game.
Situations offensively, as Russ is
It's
doing a
just
little
like,
bit of house cleaning.
you know what? If you want the job done right, reminds me of the All-Star game in New York a couple years ago, where he did.
Now we need to discuss Marc Gasol, because he managed to knock Clint Capella's shoe right off the court.
Clint Capella loses his shoe.
And technical foul called on Marc Gasol for kicking the shoe.
That referee is really off his game, but honestly, all the refs seem to be. This one even ejected Anthony Davis just for tying his shoes.
I don't understand how you can lose your shoe. They don't strap him up very tight.
Oh, AD's been tossed. He's out of the game. They let him play on before AD could put the shoe on.
What does the ref expect him to do? Play barefoot? I'm not sure, but I do know that James Harden ended up playing on one foot. After injuring his ankle, he took one of the most unusual looking free throws ever. I wouldn't advise shooting like this guy though. He actually pulled up from behind the backboard.
Meeks on the drive, looking to draw contact, and it counted at one.
I'd challenge him to make that shot again, but I wouldn't challenge anyone to pull off a play like this. Najee Marshall made one of the worst passes I've ever seen.
Wes has gotten 17 minutes off the bench. What in the heck?
Tony Allen went for a layup and ended up getting the ball stuck on the ramp.
The roll, the follow. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? It's gonna stick.
The ball essentially stopped being a ball in the middle of the play. While getting a layup stuck is uncommon, having an alley-oop get stuck is unheard of.
6.8 rebounds, 4.7 assists per game. Lob it up. Dunk attempt, wedgie. That doesn't happen.
You come across something new every day in the NBA. For example, the Raptors once had 2 players block a shot simultaneously.
Tatum! Denied!
The Raptors had me seeing double, but Vince Carter had me seeing triple. He launched a full court shot, and it actually went in.
Last shot here. Vince. Can you believe it?
Let's be honest, that shot had no business going in. I'm surprised it even got close. Meanwhile, this pass from Amare Stoudemire missed badly.
Stoudemire throws it to him sitting there courtside.
Who is he even passing to? A ghost? It seems like some NBA players make baffling decisions, like this guy who tried to check into the game without a jersey.
To be fair, he had been injured. He hadn't played in 3 months, and there was it. When he took off his warm-up, it looked like it came off with it.
What on earth is he thinking? It's probably the same thing DeMar DeRozan is, because this guy passed the ball right to the other team's bench.
35 points in the period as DeRozan throws it away. And this one.
Honestly, that's not even DeRozan's fault. Sure, Joakim Noah was wearing the same colors and trying to trick him, but there's no fooling Steven Adams. This guy can do the unbelievable. One time, he got fouled so hard that he broke his shooting hand, but instead of leaving the game, he walked up to the free throw line and gave it his all.
Cheering him on. He wants to stay in the game. How about that?
In 2006, David Lee stunned everyone. With just 0.1 seconds left in the second overtime, the Knicks were tied with the Bobcats at 109. 109 when suddenly,
As they throw it at the basket.
he made it just in time, proving that in the NBA, everything can shift in the blink of an eye. The Nuggets mascot learned this the hard way when he tried to dunk off a trampoline to impress the crowd. And suddenly, Mutombo is a real menace. He even threw the ball at him, which is basically assault. But we have one final moment that shocked everyone. A time when a Kings fan sitting courtside got so drunk that he ended up stinking up the entire arena.
Man, they must have spilled a keg over there or something. I don't know what happened.
And here is the women's basketball world choosing to reject the attention that is finally coming their way by rejecting Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA has really missed out by passing on Caitlin Clark. She's not just any rookie, she's the most exciting thing to happen to the WNBA, NCAA, and women's basketball in general. But here's an intriguing twist. She got left out of the Team USA women's basketball roster. Talk about a major surprise for 2024.
Look, let's be honest. Most people didn't even know they had women's basketball in the Summer Olympics. Now you have a chance to do this, and you don't take it, so here.
In basketball, having top-notch skills and fierce competitiveness can overshadow even the biggest teams worldwide, and Caitlin Clark embodies all of that. So, what could be behind Team USA's decision not to include the Indiana Star rookie? First, let's take a look at Clark's performance in her rookie year with the WNBA. Despite the Indiana Fever's 3-for-29 season, Clark shined individually, averaging 16.8 points, 6.3 assists, and 5.3 rebounds. Her performance and impact are unprecedented for a rookie in the WNBA. So why isn't she on the Team USA roster? Experience can't be the excuse, considering the USA national basketball team's history of selecting rookies. Since women's basketball was added to the Olympics in 1976, at least 2 players under 25 have been included in every Olympic roster. The youngest ever to play for the USA women's team was Nancy Lieberman at 18 in 1976. In the Tokyo Games, the youngest were Asia Wilson and Nafisa Collier, both 24. Additionally, there's a precedent for including the top WNBA draft pick in Olympic years, such as Diana Taurasi in 2004, Candace Parker in 2008, and Brianna Stewart in 2016. The U.S. team didn't include Ndamukadi Agwumaike in the lineup back in 2012, even though she was with Los Angeles and now Seattle. Now, Caitlin Clark finds herself in a similar situation. During her time at Iowa, Clark became the Division I career scoring leader for both men and women, finishing with 3,951 points. She also reached the national championship game in both her junior and senior years.
Look, let's be honest. Most people didn't even know they had women's basketball in the Summer Olympics. Now you have a chance to do this, and you don't take it, so here.
However, selecting Clark would have meant more than just highlighting her story. It would have introduced Olympic viewers and readers, many of whom aren't avid sports fans or haven't seen a women's Olympic basketball game, to the entire U.S. team. If you hadn't seen Brianna Stewart in her previous Olympic appearances, you would have tuned in this summer because of Clark's star power. The same goes for Brittany Griner. If she's healthy, she won't be there, and thus, many fans won't follow, as they usually don't. Imagine the global interest Clark could have generated, with reporters and fans from around the world watching her make stunning plays and signing autographs. Little girls in Europe and Africa might have been just as captivated as those in the USA. It all comes down to USA Basketball, whose mission is to promote, grow, and elevate the game at all levels. Missing out on representing your country in the Olympics is undoubtedly disheartening, and Caitlin Clark likely felt that way when she learned she hadn't made the 12-player roster for the Paris Games. On Sunday, Caitlin Clark and Fever coach Christy Sides addressed the news for the first time since it was announced that the top overall pick didn't make Team USA's final roster for the 2024 Olympics in Paris next month. Clark maintained her usual calm demeanor when reacting to the news, but Sides revealed her star's immediate response. Clark got the call while on the bus and texted Sides to share the news. Sides tried to keep her spirits up, and Clark's reaction was, "Hey coach, they woke a monster," which Sides found impressive. Clark noted that the team's mix of talent and experience, none of the players being younger than 26, was a key factor in her not making the roster. Despite this, Clark expressed enthusiasm for the players who did make the team. She said, "I'm excited for the girls on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and it could have gone either way, with me being on the team or not. I'll be rooting for them to win gold. Watching the Olympics has always been a dream for me, and this just adds motivation. Hopefully, in 4 years, I can be there." Clark was invited to the most recent training camp in April, which would have been her first chance to work with the senior national team, but she couldn't attend due to the Final Four. Nonetheless, she gave herself a strong chance with a standout rookie season. However, she has faced challenges with the physicality of the game and leads the league in turnovers, averaging 5.6 per game. These issues, along with the talent and experience of the players ahead of her, seem to be the reasons she didn't make the final roster. According to Christine Brennan of USA Today, Team USA veterans were concerned about how Clark's large fan base might react if she were chosen, but received limited playing time. Clark didn't go into details about the decision, but mentioned that USA Basketball called her to deliver the news before it was publicly leaked on social media. On the bright side, Clark will finally get a break when the WNBA takes a pause for the Olympics. She's been playing almost non-stop since her senior season at Iowa started in October. Once the Fever finish their pre-Olympic schedule on July 17th, they won't play again until August 16th. "I'm really looking forward to a break," Clark said. "I've loved every second of competing, but it will be great to rest, get healthy, and take a bit of time away from basketball. It'll be nice to find some peace and quiet for myself." There's a slight chance Clark could still join the team as an injury replacement, Notably, Chelsea Gray, who was selected, hasn't played in 8 months due to a foot injury, and it's unclear when she'll return. As one of the top playmakers, Clark could be next in line if Gray isn't back in time. However, Clark is focusing on the Fever and their effort to climb out of the 11th seed. If USA Basketball needs something, I have a good relationship with them. But the 12 players they've selected are really great, Clark said. I think they're in good hands. Cheryl Reeve is a great coach, and the selection committee did a really good job. Some media personalities suggest that not making Team USA could turn out to be a blessing in disguise for Clark. Jamel Hill, formerly of ESPN, suggested that not competing for the gold medal might actually be beneficial for Clark. In just a few weeks, Clark transitioned from college basketball to becoming a professional and dealing with a demanding schedule. A multi-week break could be just what she needs, Hill mentioned in an X post. Clark had almost no offseason. Her college career ended on April 7th after a long 6-month season, and just a week later, she was the first overall pick in the WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever. She started practicing almost immediately, with the Fever's preseason beginning 11 days before the WNBA season kicked off on May 14th. The WNBA season will take a nearly month-long break for the Olympics, with the Fever off from July 18th to August 15th. This will be the longest gap between games for Clark since before her final season at Iowa State.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first, it's Caitlin Clark. The ball's knocked loose, doesn't matter. 29 feet away, pulling up from Alexandria, boom. No problem.
Caitlin Clark just delivered the explosive performance we've all been waiting for. She nailed 7 3-pointers and scored over 30 points in front of a packed crowd of more than 20,000 fans, turning a dream scenario into reality for us supporters. In this remarkable game, Clark became just the second rookie in WNBA history to hit 7 3-pointers and reach a career-high 30 points. She matched Crystal Robinson's rookie 3-point record from 1999 and surpassed Tamika Catching's record of 6 from 2002, setting a new franchise record for the most 3-pointers by a rookie in a single game. Her standout performance not only led the Indiana Fever to an 85-83 victory over the Washington Mystics in the Commissioner's Cup, but also won over fans who had seen her struggle in earlier games. Moreover, she silenced critics who doubted her ability to adjust to the WNBA standards. The game, which was moved to Capital One Arena to accommodate the high demand to see the top draft pick, saw Clark shine in front of a record-breaking crowd of 20,333. This was the largest attendance for a WNBA game since the 2007 finals and the second best performance since 1999. Clark also added 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a career-high 4 steals to her impressive stats.
At this time 1 week ago, we were gearing up for Caitlin Clark to go against Angel Reese for the first time in their WNBA careers. And by the time the Fever Sky game was over, the conversation had changed to Kennedy Carter's foul on Clark, a foul the WNBA would later upgrade to a flagrant foul 1 the very next day, and it was a foul that launched 1,000 takes.
Caitlin Clark has made history as just the second rookie to score over 30 points, grab more than 5 rebounds, dish out over 5 assists, and hit more than 5 3-pointers in a single game. She also became the fastest WNBA player to reach 200 points and 75 assists, achieving this in just 12 games and surpassing Sue Bird's record of 14 games. It felt great to shoot well. Even my misses felt close, Clark said after the game. It was nice to have a night like this. Overall, we shot the ball really well. 16 made threes. I still see so many areas where I can improve, and I think that goes for our entire team. Clark is determined to maintain her high level of play, knowing she hasn't reached her peak yet. Her standout performance also led the Fever to deliver the Mystics their 11th consecutive loss, marking the worst start in the franchise's history. Kelsey Mitchell, Clark's backcourt partner, added 16 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Both Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith contributed 10 points each. The team secured their second Commissioner's Cup win, moving to a 2 one record in the competition. However, despite her impressive performance, Clark is still dealing with some rookie challenges, including leading the league in turnovers. She had 8 more turnovers in this game, bringing her season total to 67. Interestingly, she matched her career high of 30 points from May 28th against the Los Angeles Sparks. Along with her 6 assists, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals, she made 7 of 13 three-point attempts, tying a WNBA rookie record, and hit 5 consecutive shots from beyond the arc in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's a process more than anything. It felt good to shoot the ball well. Like, I feel like even my misses were like right there. I thought multiple were still going in, and it was nice to have a night like that.
Clark's confidence in her game is evident from recent performances. Earlier, she discussed the learning curve she faced in her first 11 professional games. After scoring just 3 points in a season-low performance against the New York Liberty on Sunday, Clark rebounded with what many consider the best game of her young WNBA career, thanks to a 4-day break. During this time off, Clark mentioned that the Fever took the opportunity to refine their set plays and practice against ball screen blitzes that had been challenging them. Against the Mystics, Clark found space to create off those screens, explaining, "As a shooter, once you see 1 or 2 shots go in, the basket just seems bigger and bigger." Indiana head coach Christy Sides noted that the strategy to get Clark more action off screens was deliberate, aiming to reduce her workload. "She started feeling it late, which is always a good sign," Sides said. Defensively, Clark made an impact with a steal under the Washington basket to ignite a transition bucket in the first half and added another steal shortly after. By halftime, she had 4 assists and 3 steals, energizing the fans. Playing against the struggling Washington Mystics, who have 11 losses this season, also gave Clark a chance to look more at ease on the court. She mentioned before the game that she felt her passing was up to her standard, even as she and her Fever teammates continue to build their chemistry. Clark is also satisfied with her rebounding stats, considering her size. The 2-time NCAA Player of the Year came into Friday's game averaging 15.6 points, 6.4 assists, 5.1 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and a league-high 5.4 turnovers per game. Clark believes that as the game slows down for her, those turnovers will decrease. To reduce turnovers, Clark showcased her ball handling skills with a smooth one-handed drive and a scoop shot for 2 points in the first quarter. On the next Fever possession, she demonstrated her court vision with a give and go with second-year forward and 2023 top draft pick, Aaliyah Boston. Despite this, some flaws in Clark's game from the first 6 weeks of her professional career were evident on Friday. In the first quarter, she was stripped by fellow rookie Julie Van Loo, who then hit a transition three-pointer before Clark could recover. Clark responded with a step-back three-pointer near the Mystics logo. With the Fever starting 3s in 9, Clark is gaining a clearer understanding of how much experience counts in the WNBA. She offered some realistic insights into her situation, noting, "If you're the #1 pick, you're probably going to a team that didn't have the best year before. It can be tough at times." One of the positives from the first 11 games has been the team's energy, which Clark says has remained consistent since their first game. Recently, Clark has been more in the media spotlight, particularly after taking hard fouls from the Chicago Sky's Chennedy Carter, which the league later upgraded to a flagrant foul. Clark addressed the controversy before Friday's game and stated she wasn't seeking an apology from Carter. While Carter faced criticism from fans upon the Sky's arrival in DC, Clark's performance highlighted her resilience and ability to rise above the situation.
And she's having a tremendous season. She's played great basketball, in my eyes, probably in first place for 6th player of the year. And, it's just basketball at the end of the day. There's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive. It's not going to be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is. And I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Clark acknowledged that she was fully aware of the physical challenges she would face in the WNBA. "Maybe some people didn't understand the circumstances," she said. Clark continued, "You're starting a new chapter and a new phase of your career as a professional athlete. It's not going to click overnight. That's just not how it works. Clark has been emphasizing this since the beginning of her WNBA career, but both she and her fans are well aware of her exceptional talent and quick learning abilities. She plays in front of sold-out crowds in large arenas, and the excitement only seems to grow with each game.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
The trolls are acting without class and are trending on Twitter after LSU star Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark with John Cena's "You can't see me" gesture after their win. Not just fans, but also sports commentator Keith Olbermann criticized Reese with a harsh tweet, calling her an I-word and warning her about the backlash that comes with messing with a new star who attracts thousands of new fans to basketball. It all began with these two basketball players, Reese from LSU and Clark from Iowa, becoming household names for sports fans with their record-breaking performances in the March Madness tournament. The NCAA's most valuable players seemed to have a tense relationship, with Reese alleging that Clark had disrespected several of her friends and teammates throughout the tournament. Here's a breakdown of the two stars and their rivalry. Reese and Clark faced off in the championship game, where Reese's LSU Tigers ultimately triumphed with a 102-85 win. In the game's final moments, viewers saw Reese respond to Clark's taunts, which drew significant online criticism. Reese mimicked Cena's "You can't see me" gesture and pointed to her ring finger, signaling their championship victory, all while staring Clark down. During their post-game press conferences, both players addressed the situation. Clark, displaying her sportsmanship, responded to questions about Reese's taunts by saying, "Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line, shake hands, and express gratitude that my team was in that position." She emphasized the importance of holding one's head high and being proud of their achievements. This is how a star beloved by fans reacts. On the other hand, Angel Reese had a different take. In her post-game interview, Reese acknowledged Clark as a hell of a player, but noted that Clark had disrespected her teammate Alexis Morris during the title game. Reese made it clear that she doesn't take disrespect lightly. Since their post-game interviews, both Reese and Clark have addressed the discussions surrounding their taunts. Speaking with ESPN, Clark defended Reese, saying, "I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. No matter which way it goes, she should never be criticized for what she did." Clark further demonstrated her class, stating, "I think everybody knew there was going to be a little trash talk throughout the entire tournament. It's not just me and Angel." Despite her tearful post-game interview, Clark spoke to ESPN, acknowledging that the LSU Tigers rightfully earned their NCAA championship over her team. LSU deserved it. They played so well, and like I said, I'm a big fan of hers, Clark said of Reese. Clark's behavior off the court is truly exemplary. She always takes the time to appreciate other players, even though she rarely gets the same recognition in return. ESPN reported that Dr. Jill Biden was thinking about inviting both teams from the title game to the White House. This would be the first time the runner-ups were included in the celebratory visit. "So, I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do," Jill said, according to CNN. "We hope LSU will come, but you know, I'm going to tell Joe I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game." Reese shared the link to ESPN's story and added a joke with 3 laughing emojis, saying, "Can you see the jealousy and the hate?"
Really need to recognize what's going on, the success of the league, and when it comes to Caitlin Clark, they need to quit being quote-unquote petty and hating on Caitlin. And they just can't do it. Angel Reese just can't do it.
The First Lady eventually decided against inviting both teams, but the damage had already been done, according to Reese and the LSU Tigers. Stuff like that bothers me because, at the end of the day, you're a woman and you're supposed to be standing behind us, Reese said on the I Am Athlete podcast. "It's hard to see things like that and not comment back on it." Reese continued, "I'm not going to lie to you. I don't accept the apology. You can't take back certain things you say. You felt like they should have come because of sportsmanship, right? They can have that spotlight. We'll go to the Obamas. I'm going to see Michelle. I'm going to see Barack. Reese's comments sparked reactions from Caitlyn's fans, who roasted Reese as a result. After the Chicago Sky beat the New York Liberty 90-81 on Thursday night, Reese, a former LSU star, appeared to take a dig at Caitlin Clark in a now-deleted tweet. Reese has been crucial to the Chicago Sky's success, contributing an impressive 35 points in 2 of the first 3 victories of the season. Following their latest win, Reese tweeted, "And that's on getting a win in a packed area, not just because of one player on our charter flight," which many speculated was aimed at Clark, the standout rookie for the Fever. Clark's transition to the professional level has undeniably contributed to the growth of the WNBA, bringing in charter flights for the league. Several basketball fans did not take kindly to Reese's comment. One fan mocked her college GPA, saying, "That 1.8 GPA showing LOL," while another said, "Angel should be thankful to Caitlin Clark because she's the main reason behind the great attention the WNBA's getting right now. She should be more grateful." Others looked forward to June 1st when Reese would face Clark's team, with one fan asking, "Why is she so obsessed with Clark? I haven't seen Clark bring up Reese once." Other fans labeled many women players as haters of Clark, noting, "It's truly amazing how much these women hate Clark, LOL." Reese's profile rose because of the rivalry. Otherwise, she might have been just another WNBA player. One fan even challenged the vague meaning of her tweet, saying, "What did she say? I read the tweet 10 times and still can't understand what she's trying to say." Despite the intense competition and scrutiny surrounding their games, Reese has tried to show some respect for Clark. In April's highly anticipated LSU-Iowa March Madness matchup, Reese clarified that there was no animosity between her and Clark. After LSU's loss to Iowa in the Elite Eight, the 2 players shared a hug in the handshake line, with Reese whispering encouraging words to Clark. Reese revealed that Clark told her to continue being a great player, and Reese reciprocated by encouraging Clark to keep elevating the game and win it. This moment highlighted the respect and admiration they have for each other as athletes, despite their fierce competition on the court. Both players have admitted that their rivalry isn't personal. Reese explained that outside the game, they can be friendly and supportive of each other. She acknowledged that people often misinterpret their competitive nature as hatred, but in reality, they respect each other and understand the nature of the game. However, recent events paint a different picture. Reese recorded an impressive stat line with 17 points and 20 rebounds in 36 minutes before fouling out with under 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. On the other hand, Clark delivered a stellar performance, finishing with 41 points, including 9 3-pointers, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block, leading Iowa to the Final Four.
It is still a team game, and but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills.
LeBron James has chosen to focus on the positive impact Caitlin Clark is having on the WNBA in her rookie season, despite the early struggles and criticism faced by players like Angel Reese. James praised Clark for boosting interest and viewership in women's basketball, highlighting her significant contributions to the sport's growth. "The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport is that more people want to watch, more people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark is the reason a lot of great things are going to happen for the WNBA," James said. James is absolutely right. Clark's impact is substantial. She is a major reason behind the increased viewership and support for women's basketball. Her arrival in the WNBA has led to more nationally televised games and the introduction of charter flights for WNBA teams, changes that players like Angel Reese might not like because they envy Caitlin's stardom. Share your thoughts about Clark's growing stardom in the comments below.